YouTube, Grand Rising, my global African family. This is your boy coming from America, gohamtrucking, and I said I'm gonna start just kind of coming on and showing you guys my global African family, you know, a little bit more about the African American lifestyle, experience, and day-to-day life here in the United Snakes of America, or the divided states, as Dr. Mumi says, from Kenya. So you can all see, because what I'm getting from reading comments, and of course I belong to different groups, African groups, and I'm starting to interact with brothers and sisters all over the planet, and what I'm realizing is we pretty much all have some of the same experiences, but because we don't really know these other traditions and cultures and languages and geographical locations, we tend to think that the grass is greener always on the other side. And that's not always the case. And I think the reason why we think this way is because we don't have a window into other melanated or African peoples from around the world. We're just reading about them or seeing them in the newspapers or via the television, i.e. the news. So that's pretty much, or television shows or sitcoms, and that's pretty much all that we really know about one another, unless we put forth the effort and go to these different places and use our own money, you know, spend your own dimes, nickels, and quarters in order to go to these places, so you can see that your African brothers and sisters from around the planet, we all are having similar problems with other cultures, right? And we have various reasons of why these things take place. One is because we're not unified. We don't see ourselves as a monolith. And other folks may not do the same, but at least they will come together and put their differences aside in order to oppose any advancements by melanated people. And so we have to really look at that, you know. How is it that they can form like Voltron or come together despite their differences? Sometimes it's language, sometimes it's culture, sometimes it's ethnic diversity, religion, traditions, and customs. They can put all that aside and come together to oppose melanated or African peoples. But yet, we, for whatever reason, don't do the same things. We see ourselves as individuals, or we see ourselves by our geographical landmass, and because another melanated person speaks a different language, or prays a different way, or dresses differently, somehow we're totally and distinctly different. I beg to differ. I bet in the future here, with DNA testing, we should be able to see, as more of the genetic scientists and the data comes out, we're going to start to see a pattern in genetic and DNA makeup. I think if you test people, African peoples from the Caribbean, with the African peoples that's in India, you may see a lot of genetic matches. curiosity is just eating us up. You know what I mean? Due to the fact that it was taken from us. It's just like if you take something from a kid, you take candy from a baby, that baby is going to remember that you took that candy. And if you go somewhere and lay that candy down in another room, that child is going to wander into that room to see that candy and take it back. This is what children do. So just imagine that you take a culture, a language, a history, a heritage, take you away from your home. You're going to want that back. And here we are, this day and age, with all of the technology that we have. Excuse me, guys, I had to get a drink of my coffee because it's early over here. It's what is it? 8:30 in the morning in America on Tuesday, day before D-Day. Before the creepy old man takes office. But I digress. Back to what I was saying. Yeah, so just imagine a whole people stripped of their land, their language, their religion, their mores, their fork tails, their food, right, their families, and taken to a strange land and forced under the threat of death to work for free. So a lot of people got this misconstrued, I think. You know, nobody volunteered, and because nobody really knows the history, because they kept it hidden in secret for so long, a lot of us here don't even know the history of what our forefathers did in this land. So I don't expect the continental brothers and sisters, or the sisters and brothers in the Caribbean, or the brothers and sisters in India, or anywhere in the world to understand what happened here in America. And it's up to us, with the new technology that's available worldwide, to tell our story accurately, so people can have a real good depiction on what took place here in America. Because I'm getting the suspicion or the sneaky feeling that people think that we were slaves before we came here. That's not true. We were free people living in Africa, or we were free people living here in the Americas, and we was enslaved, which means that your freedom status is stripped away and you are in prison or enslaved. And we fought slavery. It was many uprisings and rebellions here, where the newly enslaved Africans or native Africans to this land had many uprisings in this country that they do not dare tell the world that took place. So we've been here fighting wicked people. I think that's a good way to put it. We've been here in this land fighting wicked people for over 400 years with no help from any outside nations. I really want that to set in to my global African family. We've been here, free Africans, free native Africans to this land, enslaved, right? Forced to work for free. And all the rapes, the killings, the murders, the breaking up of the families, all of that took place over a 400-year span of time. No, and I do repeat, no outside nations came to our aid and assistance. Nobody went to the UN to speak up on our behalf. sent any aid. No one opened their doors and told us, hey, if you can make it here, you are a free person. I don't remember that being extended to any of us. If it has, somebody please make me aware of it. So we thought we had no allies, and that's the reason why we've been here and haven't really tried to get out to make our way back to Mother Africa. But we felt we didn't have no allies. That's why you'll hear a lot of African Americans say that they're not African. The reason why they say that, we know we African by phenotype and genetics, but we felt like we have no connection to the motherland because while we've been here fighting and trying to prevent a genocide, no one came to our aid. No one offered us asylum. No one spoke up on our behalf. So we thought nobody really cared about our plight. So when you hear brothers and sisters over here or from anywhere say they don't identify with Africa or Africans, that is where it's coming from. It's coming from that thought pattern that we didn't have any allies. We didn't have one African nation to come and speak up. Delegations of countries from there come here all the time to the UN. The UN is in New York. So they come here all the time. Where is the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the understanding that we're cousins? So that's where that sentiment is coming from. But now a lot of us realize that, okay, when we sit down and really analyze the situation, we realize that colonization was taking place there in the motherland. And because of that, the colonizers set up the school systems. And of course, you all were not being taught about the true history and nature and scope of the transatlantic slave trade. And we was not taught about colonization, which is basically enslaving the people in their own land up under their own flag. So everybody has experienced this phenomenon of enslaving others. Every African nation that I explored now, I'm realizing that they had their own form of genocide, war, and colonization. And so we all have a similar past, and we need to share this information and be sympathetic to our brothers and sisters around the world who have experienced wickedness on a scale that just boggles the mind. So we should not get in the habit of blaming the victims, the enslaved. We have a history and a problem of blaming the enslaved person. And somehow we give the colonizer a pass. To me, that's wrong. Nobody asked to be enslaved. Nobody asked to have their limbs cut off, have their babies ripped from them, to have their language beaten out of them, have their names stripped from them. to be torn from their ancestral homeland. Nobody asked for that. And because we're such an angelic people, we don't think like that. We're not an evil, wicked people by nature. We're not. And a lot of us are not a warlike. We don't really come from warlike cultures either. We come from a beneficent culture. And this crosses all territorial nation borders. Everywhere I go on the planet and I see African people, we really have an angelic nature. Even when a lot of us are out of our minds. You know, we still feel bad for the underdog. We still root for the underdog. We still, you know, sympathize with the person that's being bullied or taken advantage of. We sympathize with that person. And you all can't tell me that we don't. So I'm going to start doing more of these, as well as showing you guys my different travels from different nations, because I realize, you know, I am in a privileged position. And the only reason why I'm in a privileged position is because of the fact that I know nobody is going to do anything for me. So that means I have to get up, get out, and make something happen. And I do that every single day. I'll get back to y'all in a minute. I got a call, guys. All right, sorry about that. My global African family. I'm back. I think I was talking about just the difference between the hidden history of melanated people from around the planet. So I want to make this a platform where we showcase African people all over, and so we don't walk around with these preconceived notions about what we think the other person's culture is, because we tend to overinflate the experience of your brother and sister from another land. So, like, in case in point, here in America, everybody thinks that we're somehow living to a standard that's different from this standard across the globe. And really, in these societies, we have to fight tooth and nail just to carve out, you know, a living for ourselves. Nothing is really handed to us. The government is not really handing us anything. You know what I mean? If anything, they're taking more than they're giving us. You know what I mean? So that's why we are looking to basically come back home. Like I said in previous videos, the fact is we, you know, we was denied our birthright because we was, you know, stolen. Our foremothers and forefathers were stolen from Africa. They didn't come willingly. Even if they was war, fighting with neighboring tribes. Let me slow down. And was sold due to the fact that, you know, that tribe lost to another tribe and they were sold to the Europeans, or whether they assisted in helping the Europeans. This is Dayton, Ohio. Letting y'all see a little bit of the city to the left there. It's a smaller city, but it's, I think this is Dayton. This is Dayton. Yeah, this is Dayton, Ohio. Oh, this is a big city, but it's okay. So, you know, nobody asked to be enslaved. You know what I mean? We was perfectly content in Africa, doing our thing, living an African life, under the African sun, just as happy. And then all of a sudden you're snatched from there, brought to a strange land, and have your culture, your language, and your name basically beaten out of you. Right? No way to get back home. And here we are, 400 years later. So now, just due to the fact that off of our memory, genetic memory, we still got, images in our mind about our original homeland. And now we have no excuse, some of us, to make the pilgrimage to go back. Slow down a little bit further. I didn't even realize the speed here is really slow. But yeah, now we got the wherewithal to go back. So now we're coming back. People are like, oh well, you're more American than you is African. Really? DNA says otherwise. We do our DNA, right? The results don't come back as American. It just don't. You know what I mean? So it comes back from, we're from the, Yoruba tribe, or we're from the Ashanti, or we're from the Mende, all right? Mandinka. This is what it says. Don't say nothing about American, but everybody keeps saying we're Americans. You know what I mean? Some of us may be, some of us may not be. But either way, the ones that's considered conscious want to come back. Like me, I want to come back. You know what I mean? I love it there. I love it mixing with the people. Yeah, I have a huge learning curve because I didn't grow up there, but guess what? I can learn the language. Okay? The language is the only barrier for right now. And really, a lot of the countries have adopted, most of the colonizers' language anyway. English has been adopted widely throughout West Africa and Africa in general. So there's French, Portuguese, Dutch. So, hey, it is what it is. So I'm willing to learn other languages. That just makes me more well-rounded. Simple as that. I look at it as a challenge. But the thing is, I feel that at home, I feel at peace. I feel a sense of belonging. I feel a sense of fulfillment because I'm the first African to go back to the land where my foremother was taken from. I'm the first one to return. To you all, that may not be a big deal, but to me, that is a big deal. And I'm sure my ancestors smiling down on me, saying, "Good job, grandson." More likely on my mother's side, it was a Mende woman from Sierra Leone who was the first person to be enslaved on my matriarchal side of the family. So I want to pay homage and respect to her. God bless the dead, and I appreciate her surviving and thriving, because if she didn't survive and thrive, then I couldn't be here talking to you all over this particular medium, meaning YouTube. I pay homage and respect to my foremother. I don't know who she is yet, but she knows who she is. And I'm glad that she survived and she allowed me to be able to go back. And now that I have the ability to go back, I want to go back and I want to make my original ancestral homeland my new home. Restore my citizenship to the African continent and reintegrate myself back into the culture. Yes, a lot of us want to do that, and for the brothers and sisters who don't, they want to just stay here and plant their flag in America, they're more than willing, and I support them 100%. That's what they want to do. I'm all in support of that. And people should be supportive of that if that's what they choose to do. People should also be supportive of Africans that want to go back to the continent. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the 22nd or 23rd, whatever it is, 21st century. We can do whatever we want to do now. All we have to do is just have an idea and a will, and then we can make it happen. There's no shackles and chains on us now, right? You're only limited by your own inspiration, imagination, and persistence. As long as you're willing to put forth the effort, I think God, Allah, will make sure that certain doors will open up for you. The police sitting in the middle. Yep, they're sitting in the middle. Yep. Now you get a chance to hear all my continental brothers and sisters to get to see different parts of America. I think this will be a better vlog. Me coming on here just talking to you all, doing lives when I'm able to start doing lives. But you guys got to help share the channel so I can get through to more people. You know what I mean? So you guys got to share the channel, my continental brothers and sisters, so I can be able to show you all more of America. You know, because I'm gonna have to get better batteries for these phones. I'm gonna have to get memory cards, really large memories, so I can keep bringing you all these videos and let y'all see America, so we can get rid of some of this stigma and some of these false impressions of what you all think African Americans actually go through in America. You know, it's built up here, but how you think it got this way? Free labor. Anybody? It's the number one answer. It got this way through free labor or manipulated labor, right? And now it's all built up, and people forget how it got this way. People came here initially, had no roads, wasn't no signs, wasn't no electrical grid, and wasn't no big cities. All this stuff had to be built. Who built it? You know what I'm saying? Where the money come from? So this is right outside of Dayton, Ohio, the state of Ohio. So I'm gonna start showing y'all more, and I'm sure you all will be able to appreciate being able to see and hear me give you all my opinions and insight, due to the fact that I've been to 5 African nations, and I've been to pretty much every state almost in America. And then of course I'm over the road trucker, and so I go to various states every day. So I think it'll be a good thing for you all to see for yourself. This is what America looks like, right? We still have a lot of vacant land here, where people be saying, oh, it's overcrowded, it's overcrowded. It's not overcrowded. These are the narratives that they tell, and they're not necessarily true. When I go to Africa, I see a lot of land that's underdeveloped. Some land like it has never been set foot in. So there's too many people. I don't buy that. I don't buy into that narrative. There's not too many people. It's just that certain individuals at the top of the so-called pyramid is trying to hoard all the land for themselves. Look at all this land. I'm not lying. I'm showing y'all this is what America looks like. This is just one state. We have 50 states. And if this creepy old man get in the office, Trader Joe's, he's said that he wants to add Puerto Rico as a state and Washington D.C. as a state. So I guess we'll have 52 if he can get to have his way. And just look at all this land. This is everywhere throughout America. The only place you don't see all this vacant land at is when you go into the cities. I'm gonna be showing y'all more of the cities so you get a chance to see. And you see everything is not chaotic. All the traffic is orderly because you have the police and the mediums on the highways and byways and throughout the streets to make sure that you follow the traffic laws and they enforce them strictly. You will get tickets if you don't follow the highway rules of the road here. So as you notice, everything is orderly. It doesn't look chaotic. Now, when I'm in Africa, all I see is madness. Now, to the people that's there, it makes sense or whatever, but to me, it's madness. Because very few people obey the traffic laws. That's one thing that I do notice between here and being in Africa. And I think the people, the brothers and sisters there, need to change that. You need to start obeying those traffic laws so you can have some order. Order is definitely needed. But okay, guys, I think we had 30 minutes or whatever, so I don't want to make these too long. So I think 30 minutes is probably the proper time. And then I'll just start doing these every day, as well as giving you all the videos from the trip. And I'll be going back soon, and I'll give you new videos of the trip. But in the meantime, I can give you daily blogs on showing you America and then just breaking down some of you all's questions. So no matter how ridiculous your questions is, I guess you put them in the chat and I'll address them. You know what I mean? Just don't make them too ridiculous. You know what I mean? But whatever your questions are, I will address them so we can get through some of this blockage of not understanding each other. We are you, you are us. We are cousins. We were taken from the same land. Just because we don't speak the language and we didn't grow up in the culture still does not make us from here, per se. Okay? So I want to be able to bridge that gap and show the people from here and show our continental brothers and sisters that it ain't what y'all think it is. There's a reason why we want to leave here and come home. Y'all look at us like we're crazy. All y'all want to, why would y'all want to come back to this and this and it's corrupt here, this, that? It's corrupt here. It just look all nice and clean, but guess what? It's just as corrupt, if not more so. So I think pictures and video is worth 1,000 words. This way you can see for yourself, right? And we can get rid of some of the myths and the falsehoods that's surrounding what we call African Americans. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. I love you, global African family. I can't wait till I'm back on the motherland. Can't wait till I set foot back on the motherland. I got a few more months to grind it out here, and I'm going over, and I just can't wait to be back home. You all take care of yourselves, and I'll come back at you tomorrow and let you know where I'm at. Until then, peace, and I love you all.